Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another weekly reading vlog. I hope you guys are all doing very well. This week, lots going on. First off, I binge bought a lot of books this week, so prepare for a lot of book mail throughout the week. Second off, and most importantly, this week is about finding a 4 or a 5-star read. I truly have not had any standout reads in the month of September, and this is going to be the last full week reading vlog before the end of the month. And I just need a win. I need something that makes me feel the feels. I need something that I want to bawl or I want to scream or I want to have some kind of emotion to, because while everything I've read has been fine for the most part this month, it's been a 3.5 star, and I'm tired of it. I need something different. So I have picked out a book, I will say one book, which is a little bit different from most of my other reading vlogs, that I think is going to make me feel some type of way, whether it's positive or negative. So without further ado, let's get into the TBR. So this feels like a little bit of a go big or go home moment, but this week I'm going to be reading East of Eden by John Steinbeck. This is a absolutely massive 600-page book that is totally out of my comfort zone in every way. I don't tend to read classics. It is in no way a thriller, which is what I tend to read the most, but this is just so widely loved by so many readers. I think it has a 4.6 on Goodreads, and I just feel like something in this is going to make me feel some kind of way. So I'm going to be reading this week. As I said, it is a chunker. The only Steinbeck I've read is Of Mice and Men, which was back in my high school English class. And how should I say this? I don't take any opinions I had in my high school English class too strongly because I wasn't a reader at that time. And I'm not somebody who likes to be told what to read. And I don't love analyzing the crap out of things. I like reading more for enjoyment. So often things that I thought in high school, and not to mention I was in high school, but often feelings I had back then do not follow through. I remember enjoying Of Mice and Men. It does not stick out in my memory as something life-changing. But this one, everyone says, is Steinbeck's masterpiece. If you love one of his, you're going to love this one. So I'm very excited to pick this up this week, and for better or for worse, have some feelings about it. Otherwise, I am in the middle of The Measure by Nikki Earlrich, which is my in-person book club pick, which actually the book club is tomorrow, so I need to get on that. So I'm going to read a bit more of that today. I think I'm 10% through the audiobook. Yikes. So that will be my only other reading plan for the week. If I have a little bit of time, I'll always, I love to mood read. I love to pick up things as I go. But I know that East of Eden is going to take a lot of my time, a lot of my emotions and feelings and all of the things, my brain. So I want to just let myself experience that. Otherwise, this week, Tyler and I are going to a wedding in Colorado. It is up in the mountains. I think it's 10,000 feet. So I don't know how we're going to feel, but I'm so excited. I've looked at pictures of the venue. It looks absolutely stunning. There are lots of people that we love and know super well who are going to be there. And I think it's just going to be a really, really fun, little mountain retreat. So yeah, that is the big plan for the week. I do work tonight, but then I'm off work for next week, which is also really nice. So it should be a very chilled out week. Lots of time to read, lots of time to reset, lots of time to find a 5-star read. So yeah. Anyways, welcome to this week's reading vlog. Happy Monday. Not to brag too much, but it is officially fall and it's raining outside. And there's like a crispness to the air and the leaves are starting to change. So there's that. Today has been a chill day at home. I was post night, so I slept in until about noon. And then Tyler and I watched Bake Off because he was off today. I read a little bit of East of Eden, which I've been very much enjoying and we'll tell you a little bit about. And I just got back from book club from the book, which we talked about the book, The Measure. So I'll chat with you about my thoughts about that one. And I have 3 book boxes. Well, one of them's not really a book box, but is something that I'll share on my channel a little bit later this year. So this is going to be a long clip. Let's get to it. All right, so let's start with the book box. This first one is the one that's not really a book box. It is an advent calendar. It might be a little bit extra to start buying advent calendars at this point in the year. We are only at the end of September, but this one always sells out so quickly, and I really wanted to try it. And this is, well, let me unwrap it first, and then I'll chat with you about it. This is the Bird and Blend advent calendar. I found out about this from Kira's channel, Kira Foster. I don't know if she uploads anymore, but she makes the coziest, most wonderful vlogs. And every year she does Vlogmas, and she tastes the different teas from this advent calendar. And last year I tried to do the David's tea one. However, I found it very, like, there were too many caffeinated ones, and I don't drink tea every morning. I drink coffee most mornings. And so I was very excited to find out that Bird and Blend actually does a caffeine-free version. So I think this looks stunning. Actually, I was going to open it, but I'm not going to open it. This will be for December. I'll go through and try some of these teas. They also sent me a few little, they sent me a little gingerbread chai, award-winning spiced gingerbread chai with our best-selling tea all year round. And then they also sent me Peppermint, fresh, smooth, naturally caffeine-free peppermint tea. So thank you so much to them for sending me some little extras, and I cannot wait for this to be my tea advent calendar of the year and to open them, share them. So that's the first package. Then, as I alluded to in my last vlog, I went a little bonkers with the book buying last week because whenever I can't find a 5-star read or I'm like stressed out about not finding things that I like, I tend to just buy a bunch of things. So I have a couple of book packages. These are both from Thrift Books. This first one is a baseball romance. It's called Picture Perfect, and it has the most adorable little sprayed edges. They're little baseballs in the shape of hearts. And I think I talked about recently, but we're almost at postseason in baseball. Tyler and I are big baseball fans of our local team, the Cleveland Guardians. And this year they are just making like a stunning end of the season run. And so I thought it would be really fun to read a baseball romance. And it says it's a new enemies to lovers fake dating sports romance about a playboy hockey rookie and the disciplined softball pitcher completely immune to his charms. So excited to pick this one up. And then a ravioli package. On a totally different note, we have Sonia and Sunny by Kiram Desai. This has just been getting the most widely positive reviews. It was shortlisted for the book. No. Long listed for the Booker. I think it's on the National Book Award. It's on a lot of the prizes this year, and people have really been enjoying it. Oh, it says right up here, long listed for the 2025 Booker Prize. And Patches says a spectacular literary achievement. It says a spellbinding story of 2 young people whose fates intersect and diverge across continents and years, an epic of love and family, India and America, tradition and modernity, by the Booker Prize winning author of The Inheritance of Loss. This feels kind of dense and chunky. Oh, 600. Okay, these pages are so thin. That's the problem. 670 pages. You would never guess that based on it being that big, but when you pick it up, you can tell that this is, okay, sorry, I had some mic issues, so hopefully it didn't cut out in the middle of this. But yes, as I was saying, this is very heavy, chunky. You would never guess that this is 700 pages, but it has extremely thin pages. So I'm really excited to pick this up. I think this will be maybe an October, November read. November. It's giving me that. I definitely want to read this year because people are really, really enjoying this. Um, so, I feel like nothing says me more than my reading range, including a smutty baseball romance and a literary fiction shortlisted or long listed for the Booker. Here we go. So I have a couple books to tell you about. The first one being The Measure by Nikki Earlrich, which I gave Earlrich, which I ended up giving 4 stars. So technically ended the 4 and 5 star drought. I really enjoyed this, and I think it made for a great book club book. So if you're looking for something to read with your book club, I would highly recommend it. Basically, the premise is we are in a kind of like alternate version of Earth. We aren't given a lot of like world building or how this happens, but everybody wakes up one day and they have a box on their doorstep that has been delivered, and in the box is a string, and the length of the string tells you how long you are going to live. Short string means that you will live for a short time. Long string means that you have many, many years that you're going to live for. And it's kind of about the fallout of that, how the world processes that, how people process it. Do people look in their box? Do people not look in their box once they realize what's going on? We follow a very broad range of characters, I guess, which I think was good because it let you kind of think through how different things would happen or how this would play out. So you're following a man running for political office, you're following a soldier, you're following um, a woman in a couple people in relationships. And it just was a really interesting thing to talk about. Would you want to know or would you not want to know? I certainly would not want to know, especially after reading this book. I think it was pretty well written. I think the end of the book got a little bit sappy and over emotional. I kind of saw what the author was doing, and I don't know that it needed to be done to that extent, but I think it was pretty well written. It was a really interesting concept, and I would read more by the author. So 4 stars for that one. And then I have started to read East of Eden, which I have really, really, really been enjoying. Um, I'm on page 50 out of 600, 500. This is for sure a chunkster. And the beginning of this book has been quite slow, but also like I can't quite look away. It reminds me of my reading experience of My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante, and that the beginning, there's a lot of world building, meeting all the characters, and it's kind of slow in that way, but you also just need to know what's going on. It's one of those very propulsively readable books. But it is the turn of the century-ish, so 1900s. And for the most part, this book is set in the Salinas Valley in Northern California. And we're kind of following 2 different families that live in the area that are opposites. So think of them as the Capulets and the Montagues, if you will. One family is Irish immigrants. The other family is from the US, from the northern part of the US, I believe. And the beginning of the story is literally just telling kind of ancestors of their family, brief little bits of their history. And I don't know why, normally I would find that really character dumpy and info dumpy and not interesting, but I just am really engrossed by it. And I'm really impressed. Well, I shouldn't be impressed. I mean, Steinbeck is a literary genius, but I've never read it, or I haven't read his work recently. I'm impressed so much by how he is able to tell the entire story of a person in a paragraph, in a sentence, and you just know so much about them. I think it's so crazy. I also find the writing just absolutely beautiful. On page 1, there's just this stunning description of this valley. It says the Salinas Valley is in Northern California. It is a long, narrow swale between 2 ranges of mountains, and the Salinas River winds and twists up the center until it falls at last into Monterey Bay. I remember my childhood names for grasses and sweet secret flowers. I remember where a toad may live and what time the birds awaken in the summer and what trees and seasons smelled like, how people looked and walked and smelled even. The memory of odors is very rich. I don't know, just even that's how the book starts. I'm already sucked into the setting. I'm sucked into the fact that it's told from the first person, and Steinbeck is from that area. Like, is this his story? Like, is this partially about his family? I'm sucked into. Later it describes how he has like different feelings about different parts of the valley, the west versus the east, and it's called Eden. Like, is this like good versus bad, good versus evil? I just think so much is set up in this first 50 pages. So much is done, and it's really masterful. So, yes, I'm really, really enjoying this. I have tomorrow off work, so I'm going to read this and really enjoy it and start to sink into the prose. Um, so, yeah, so far we are starting off with a much better reading week than I've had the past couple of weeks. And it feels so nice to like read things that I'm enjoying and just be excited about reading again. So with that, I'm going to head to sleep. I am quite tired. Tyler is already in bed because he has work at 7 a.m. tomorrow. So I'm going to put this mess away and I'm going to head to bed. Hello, everybody. It is currently Thursday. We leave for Colorado tomorrow, which means I have a bunch of things that I need to do today. Cleaning up the house, mailing back some dresses that did not work. Still not sure what mountain cocktail is. Hold on, you guys are crooked. But at this point, I can only go with what I have. So figure out what I'm going to wear for a mountain cocktail wedding. What else? I have to pick up some shoes for my friend that got lost in the wedding that I'm hoping to wear for this wedding. So it's going to be a busy old day. But I did want to update this vlog, break up the B-roll a little bit before I head off to Colorado, because usually when I travel, it's a lot of B-roll and not a whole lot of me sitting down to chat to the camera. Sometimes I do, but then it's on my phone and it's a little rocky. No pun intended. Okay. So I have done some damage at the bookstore. I need to have some kind of accountability system. Please let me know if you have any ideas where I need to like read before I buy books. Although I have read a lot of these books and I'm unhauling them because I've read them. So for whatever that's worth, but I still am having more books that are coming in than are being unhauled. So I have a package from Thrift Books, and then I also have a little bit of damage that I did at the bookstore. I included some B-roll from the bookstore, I think, and I had, a day off work, and I just bopped around, and it was just so lovely, just picking up things. And then yesterday for my day off, I went to a baseball game alone. I don't usually do things alone because I feel a little bit nervous about it, but Tyler was working. Literally everybody I know was doing something, and I was like, you know what? I kind of just want to go to this game anyways. And so I did. So I went to a baseball game alone. It was really fun. And I made friends with some of the people in my little seating area, and it was great. So maybe I need to do more things alone when Tyler is working. But rambling aside, let us open this. I'm a little confused because Thrift Books usually does not send things in these boxes. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm so excited about this. Oh, my goodness. What have I done? What have I done? First off, we have All the Colors of the Dark, not the large print edition. Let me double check. Yes, not the large print edition. If you've been around here for a while, I bought this a while ago, but I got the large print, and I am not able to read large print for whatever reason. My brain just like cannot understand it. So, and I really wanted to read this book. So I am unhauling it in that massive stack, and I have the regular edition. This is about, I'm confused. It says, in Missouri in 1975, Patch, a poor boy from the wrong side of the town, emerges as a local hero after saving the life of a wealthy family's daughter. In doing so, he leaves heartache in his wake. Patch soon discovers that the line between triumph and tragedy has never been finer, and that his act of bravery might just cost him everything. I don't know. I just know that everybody loves this one. So we'll be picking that up hopefully this fall. And then I also got sucked in by the new Ellen Hilderbrand. I read Perfect Couple. I do have a review on my channel, so I'll link that if you guys are interested, by Ellen Hilderbrand, and enjoyed it. And this is her newest release. It is a boarding school book that she co-wrote with her daughter, who went to a boarding school. And I think the stories came about from some of the crazy stories that her daughter had from the school, which is just so fun. People say that this is very escapist, great for fall. It's a secret, rumor, and dangerous liaisons at an elite New England boarding school. They come with the territory. Give me Gossip Girl. I'm excited. Definitely picking this one up in the fall as well. And then, whoops. So I picked up the newest Agatha Christie, A Murder is Announced. This one, I'm a little confused because I thought A Sleeping Murder was the next order of publication, but I'm going to have to double check because in some lists it's this. So it might be this one that I'm reading next. But regardless, I know that this one's coming up. I saw it and the cover is stunning. So I got that one. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I do reviews on my channel of all the Miss Marple books, and this will be my 4th review coming up. And then I decided to pick up The Book of Guilt by Catherine Chidgey. I heard a lot of people really enjoying Pen by this author, which I think is a bit more of like a thriller. But this one says, in 1979, in a version of England where nobody won World War II, 13-year-old triplets are the only boys left in an orphanage whose dark secret is the reason for their existence and their key to their survival. I just thought that sounded so interesting. So yeah, certainly going to be picking this up as soon as well. And then last but not least, I had to come out of the bookstore with a thriller. And so I got the new Sherry Lupina, which is She Didn't See It Coming. And it says, when a beloved wife and mother disappears, a luxurious condo building transforms into a potential crime scene. Can the detectives find her before it's too late? And I just thought that sounded so interesting and maybe a good kind of like fall-y mystery thriller. I have truly been unhinged when it comes to buying books recently. Need to tone it down a little bit. But I have been reading like 12-ish books a month at this point. And so here we are. Quick little reading update for you guys. John Steinbeck's East of Eden. So I'm now at the beginning of part 3, so chapter 23. I'm right at the halfway point, and I am just like wholeheartedly obsessed with this. I don't know how I can describe this in a way. Like there's so much going on in here, so describing it and like selling this book to you is hard. But I think the biggest compliment I can give it is typically I'm a reader who's very annoyed by long books that don't really have a purpose. And this book is very long and meandering, but I couldn't care less. Like I could read 5 novels this length with these characters, and I would be perfectly happy living my best life. I just find it so engrossing. Some of the things that I love the most about this is there's a very complicated brother relationship in here. There is one of the best literary villains I have ever read. She is so unhinged, and it is just so entertaining, like knowing as a reader how unhinged she is, but like the people around her don't necessarily know, and so you know what she's up to. I just find that so entertaining. I love the descriptive bits. I love how different parts of the story are like woven in, how we get parts from different generations of both of these, of the families. I just think that this is unbelievably, incredibly stunning, like truly a masterpiece. And I'm just bracing myself for the second half because people always say they cry in the end. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm certainly going to be bringing this on the plane with me to Colorado. We do have some longer plane rides. So I think I'm just going to binge read this on the plane and be thoroughly living my best life. This is so good. So, so good. Believe the hype. If this is anywhere on your TBR, pick it up immediately. And what I would say, just to caution you as you pick it up, the beginning few, I would say 50 pages are a little on the slow end. As we're setting the scene, as we're kind of meeting some of these families in the setting. But once you get through the setting the scene, this is breakneck speed, so entertaining. And I really hope you love it and pick it up. So halfway through, don't want to give you too many spoilers, obviously. Any spoilers, obviously. But am planning to read this last half on my little trip. So that is the update. Now I've got to go about my day and actually get some stuff done. Happy Tuesday. Yes, I was supposed to upload this vlog not 1, but 2 days ago, and yet here we are. But it did take me a little while to adjust back after being in Colorado with the 2-hour time difference, and just like the travel was kind of exhausting. Last night I was planning to get this all edited, but I was literally crushed from this, and I just couldn't do it. So here we are. It is Tuesday. So first off, Colorado was unbelievably stunning and lovely. Somehow we managed to, well, not somehow, I know the bride planned it this way. We were there in peak aspen season. So all of the aspens were this absolutely gorgeous yellow color. The wedding was stunning. Like, it was just incredible. The first day was a little bit hairy because of the altitude. I live pretty much at sea level, and 10,000 feet is quite a difference. But by day 2, I was doing a hike in the mountains and didn't really care. Well, I could still feel it, but I didn't care. So it was just lovely. And then got back late 2 nights ago and have just been kind of adjusting back into normal old life. I did put in a bunch of B-roll from the wedding, so I hope you enjoy those fall mountain vibes. And I did finish East of Eden by John Steinbeck, which I gave a resounding 5 stars. I finished it yesterday. And Tyler hadn't seen me for a little bit. He was like, "Where are you going? Where are you?" Because we live in the same house. The house is small, and so typically we're in the same room or, on the same floor. I was just sitting in my reading room, just staring at the wall because I was emotionally devastated by this. And he comes over to me. There were some tears. He comes over to me, says, "Sophia, what's going on? It's just a book. It's fine." And I was like, "Yeah, but," and then I proceeded to spoil the book for him, and he understood. And I don't think I don't anticipate him reading this. He is more of a fantasy reader. But yeah, this crushed me. This is going to be one of my favorite books of the year. It's funny that I came into this week saying that I wanted a book that would make me feel, and I read a book that probably made me feel more than I have reading any book this year. Maybe not, maybe Foster by Claire Keegan. I had a similar emotional reaction. But the end of this was just, if you know, you know. I think I've kind of rambled quite a lot about this in this vlog, so I won't rehash everything. But the writing, the story, this epic saga of these families over time, how you see patterns repeat over years and how patterns change, um, the changing of time. We start at the beginning or like late 1800s, and this finishes like 1920-ish. Just miraculous, beautiful, beautiful. Highly recommend. If I could give this to you right now, I would just pop it in your hands and have you read it, and then we can just gab about it forever because I loved it. 5 stars, absolutely stunning. If you are in a reading slump and you need something to just like break you apart, do it. Read East of Eden. I do think I will read more Steinbeck. I know that this is his highest rated. Some of his others, Groups of Wrath is very popular. Of course, Of Mice and Men, which I've read, I might reread. But if you're starting somewhere, start with this. Like, if you like one of his books, you're probably going to like this one. So 5 stars, absolutely stunning. So now we are in the wrap-up segment. So this week I read about 900-ish pages. I don't actually remember how much of the measure I read this week versus last week, but Grapes of Wrath. East of Eden was 600 pages, and then the measure I read most of is about 350 pages. So that's about 900 pages, and it was 128 pages per day, which is perfect, right where I want to be. The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich, of course, I gave 4 stars and really enjoyed, and then East of Eden, 5 stars, perfect. So overall, it was a really stunning reading week. And the quote this week comes from why is this page not marked? Okay, 411 from East of Eden. So it says, humans are caught in their lives, in their thoughts, in their hungers and ambitions, in their avarice and cruelty, and in their kindness and generosity too, in a net of good and evil. I think this is the only story we have, and that it occurs on all levels of feeling and intelligence. Virtue and vice were warp and woof of our first consciousness, and they will be the fabric of our last. And this despite any changes we may impose on field and river and mountain, on economy and manners. There is no other story. A man, after he has brushed off the dust and chips of his life, will have left only the hard, clean questions. Was it good or was it evil? Have I done well or ill? So that is the quote for the week. And if you made it to the end of this video, leave me a mountain emoji for my beautiful little vacation that I took this week. Let me know if you've read this or you want to read it, because I am just dying to like chat with somebody about it because I absolutely loved it. And with that, I will leave this vlog here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon with another video. Bye.